Well, hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host Tracy. How are
Hey
you?
y'all. I'm good. I'm good. It was a busy week, but I am like at peace knowing that this coming week is going to be smooth sailing. So it's going to be much calmer.
That's good. That's nice to hear. I don't think mine will be.
So what did you do like last week? How was your last week?
It was pretty good. Just still busy. As most of you all know, the Supreme Court ruled against the voting rights of 1965. And we're trying to codify those rights here in the state of Rhode Island, as other states have already done. So that was a little gutting to actually have that happen, even though you expect it. You hope that more empathetic minds will, overcome this. And the person who was actually the most gutter with it was Clarence Thomas, because he said that it should have been, done with a long time ago. So in essence, what the Voters' Right Act of 1965 did was protect specifically African American and other minority communities from retribution for voting, give them a space where they can go to the federal government to protect their rights. So, what the Supreme Court did this week is they stripped all of those amendments for the Voters' Right Act. So that's pretty much so a done deal. That's no longer here for us as protection. So it's up to the states. And immediately after they did that, the state of Tennessee and the state of Louisiana redrew their maps. So what people don't understand is you'll lose Black senators in that representation for Black communities. So you won't have that representation in the House of Representatives or in the Senate. Already, they've already started doing that. And they're saying that what the Supreme Court is saying is you have to prove intent, that it's racial intent, why they are choosing to do this. So they're calling it partisan redistricting. And there's no partisan in it. It always goes to benefit the Republicans by stopping people from being able to vote or eliminating their access to voting. So that was really rough. I was on a call with the NAACP, the national NAACP, and Congressman, Representative Clyburn was on that call. And he was saying, how we have to, come together. People have to vote, and we need to really concentrate on this election coming up. But the thing is that's not all you can do, because if it's redistricting, no matter how many times you vote, you're still going to lose representation. So we have to be a little bit more creative and a little bit bolder. I was really disappointed with the NAACP call, only because I feel like if you want America to listen, you have to start pulling money. You
Yeah.
wrote the NAACP help write the blueprint for that. You shut down many states with the boycotts that we had, and to hear that as not an option is kind of frustrating. So we'll do what we can, and we have to be out here for voting, and I hope people do show up for Rhode Island. We're having a May 21st, the state is having a lobby day, and I wish Black Americans would show up for those days. And not just Black Americans, but really all groups really need to be in there if you are from a minority community, because they're redistricting your communities as well. So that's going to be May 21st, and it starts around 3 o'clock, but that's your chance and your opportunity to speak to your representatives, speaks to your senators, and let them know that you support the Rhode Island Rights Act. So you need to show up. Yeah. So my week that was a good chunk of my week. Calls and
Yeah.
back and forth and everything. It was a lot,
And
but I ended it well.
Oh, really? Do tell.
I ended it in Boston at the Alvin Ailey performance in Boston at the Wang Center, which was phenomenal,
Some
phenomenal.
other people I talked to said that they went there on it was Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they said it was fantastic. I've seen Alvin Ailey as well. I've seen them before and it never disappoints. Like I've never gone to Alvin Ailey and it not just been fire.
I did last 2 years ago, I went to the one in New York to see them, and my mother, my daughter, and I, we all fell asleep.
Oh no.
I was on the fence about going this year because I was just like,
I've
"That man died."
only ever seen them in Boston. I know it's the same dancers and things like that, but it's
Well, it's
always been really good.
yeah, it's usually different dancers, but I think they tried some type of interpretive dance this time in New York, and that was another reason why I was just like, "Oh, don't do it. Leave the blueprint on what that man did, and don't try and sway from that." It
Let
was
let that
not
Judith
good.
Jameson just come through. Don't
Mhm.
do nothing extra.
But it was excellent. It was excellent Friday night, so that was a long night, and for me to go to a show at 8 o'clock.
My goodness.
This is the
Not
8 o'clock show.
starting at 8.
Yeah, so but it was good. So that was my week. How about you?
So last week was busy for me. I was also paying attention to the Voting Rights Act stuff. And, I'm hopeful that, again, like you said, we can band together because no one's coming to save us. I continuously keep saying that no one is coming to
Mhm.
save us. We have to save ourselves. So before I talk about my week, I do want to encourage people to like just get mentally prepared to stand in line to vote. I wouldn't even trust mailing in my vote this year. I'm at the
Yeah,
point
'cause
now where,
they're trying to take that away as well, so that's a big
yeah, that
part of this
so
gutting.
if you can't physically go, you can't do it. I understand. Do your best to try to mail if it's available, but get mentally ready to, use the bathroom before you leave the house. Be hydrated before you leave the house. Go in groups so you have someone to talk to in line. Go out, vote in all the elections, not just the big ones, but these interim elections that happen in between the big presidential elections. So this year, your counselor, city councilor, representative, blah, blah, blah. So this week, Tuesday of last week, I went to Boston While Blacks. There are Black People in Boston event, which was fantastic. It was like one of the best things I've done in Boston in a long time. Because if I'm going to the seaport, you better make it worth my while. Because driving down there or just getting down there in general can be awkward, especially if you're coming from Rhode Island or you're coming from anywhere else. It's, you got to find a parking space, you got to find where you're going, all of that. Seaport is kind of like a touristy section, but they had it at this really cool furniture store called Blue.
It
And
looks
I know it's
beautiful
like
inside.
and so the vibe Boston While Black was trying to create was they wanted people to feel like they were in their living room having conversations. So Boston While Black, for people who don't know, it's a group, it's a membership that you can subscribe to basically, and you get information about things to do in Boston, but it's not just limited to activities. There's in the app, there's a music lounge, there's a travel group, a book club, there's a wellness hub, and then there's the general hub as well. And they do in person and they do virtual activities all the time. So this was one of the in person activities, and it was such a success. I actually was in charge of the music lounge and I was the one talking to people about who would you put against each other in a versus, like is it Usher versus Chris Brown, is it Little Kim versus Nicki? Those are the kinds of conversations we were having, and it was such a good time. But
Mhm.
Sheena Collier, the founder, she had a town hall as well, and it was packed. There were so many people. There was great food, great drinks, and there was even a book exchange that happened. So you could bring a book of yours and exchange it with someone else. So again, fabulous time. That was Tuesday night. You would think that would be enough for me to go out after work on a Tuesday, but no. Your girl had to go to the Metco 60th anniversary opportunity ball Friday night and FedEx Roxbury on Saturday morning. So it was a busy week for me, and I don't have any activities scheduled after work this week. So your girl's trying to chill.
That's good. It sounded like fun. My daughter actually went, and she said she had a good time, and I really am sorry I missed TEDx yesterday. I really did wanna go. So can you tell me about some of the speakers that I missed?
Yes. Oh my gosh. We had fantastic speakers. TEDx Roxbury is in its fourth year. You can check the website if you're interested in finding out more about us. It's TEDxRoxbury.com. Our application will open back up again in October 2026. So if you're thinking you'd be interested in taking the TED stage, you can definitely apply in October. I mean, I can't even mention every speaker because it would take more than the time we have here, but I do want to shout out Megan. Sorry, I almost said Megan. Reagan Masso, who was our youngest ever TED speaker at high school age, taking the stage to talk about what it means to be the kind of Black girl that she is. So she's, intersectional, she's Latinx, she's African American, and she's also just what she considers not your typical Black girl, or maybe she is your typical Black girl, but she's not the Black girl that they represent to us in entertainment and on television. She's just a girl, like trying to live her life, high achieving, super smart kid. Her parents are dynamos in their own right. Her mom is a illustrious educator here in Boston. I believe she's a school principal, actually. And then her dad is an entertainer, well known around the Latinx community here in Boston. She has, big shoes to fill and follow in those footsteps. And her older sister is also in college now. So, Reagan, our youngest ever speaker, I remember during the rehearsals, she knew her talk better than anyone else, better than all the adults the
Mhm.
whole time. I never feared for her being getting on the stage and just crushing it, and she did. We had former Senator Diane Wilkerson take the stage. It was also her birthday weekend, so she celebrated 71 years, and we sang happy birthday to her on stage and presented her with cake and everything. It was really cool. She talked about Roxbury and just keeping your family home in the family and trying not to sell, because how are we going to keep Roxbury the community that we know and love if others come out from the inside and crouch and then totally erase us? She talked about that. And that's serious because these houses they're beautiful, well structured older houses, but it's not just the building, it's the families in those communities that, bonded together to make a village here that we know and love. And Roxbury, could be called the heart of the city. I was born in Roxbury, so I'm calling it the heart of the city. No disrespect to Mattapan, Dorchester, Jamaica Plain. None of y'all. Some of y'all actually might live in West Roxbury, but Roxbury is like it's that girl. So we had Senator Wilkerson. There was also two really great talks that I enjoyed. I loved all the talks. I want to shout out all the speakers, but Trey Williams and Angela Pitter. So Trey talked about trees and how environmental infrastructure can actually help with longevity because there's a wide discrepancy between the life expectancy of a Roxbury resident versus a Back Bay resident.
Okay, okay. Okay, we are
Yes,
back.
girl. So I am back. I think my mother's fine. I got my daughter checking on her. So if there's something going on, my daughter got handled. So boom.
Okay,
But
okay.
anyway, amazing talk. Yes. So there apparently there is a discrepancy between how many trees we actually have because you got to keep in mind they've actually been cutting down trees in Roxbury. There was a
Mhm.
big effort to like cut down trees on Melnia Cass, and a lot of environmentalists and activists were like, no, you can't take these trees because one thing that people don't understand is like trees contribute to proper drainage, they contribute to cleaning and purifying the air. All of those things impact our lungs, our health. We know we struggle in our inner cities with asthma and other respiratory issues, and having more trees actually helps clean the air for us too and clear out a lot of pollution. So amazing talk by Trey
Yeah,
Williams.
that is
And
amazing.
I had so many favorites, but my other favorite was by Angela Pitter. She did a talk about artificial intelligence. I know it's controversial. A lot of people don't love AI, but what she talked about is that if we don't train AI properly, we could literally be like wiped off the map. Like even Roxbury, if you think about it, like if you type in like things to do in Roxbury and they come back and generate a list of things to do in Back Bay, you're not really the AI is not trained on Roxbury. TripAdvisor, for an example, and I'll name drop them. If you go into TripAdvisor looking for, you're coming from California and you want to come to the home of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King in Roxbury, and you want things to do, you type in things to do in Roxbury, you get a list of 10 things and only one is in Roxbury. That ain't right. So
Mm.
she talks about how just even as a business owner, you can help to train AI to identify your business and include it in some of these results that are coming back because it's not going away. That's just the reality of it.
Okay.
So she's saying in order to not get completely wiped off the map and gentrified even digitally, we need to, be able to train it. But anyway, amazing talk, amazing, brilliant speakers. That's just like three speakers out of a number of great speakers. And then I want to shout out Lemuel Mark, he played the coronet. I thought he said clarinet. He said, no, ma'am, coronet. I was like, okay, coronet. And he did just a fantastic job. It was wonderful to see him play this classical instrument. And then Harissa Stanislaus, I hope I'm pronouncing her last name, did an amazing poem for us too. And she was a gem as well. So just fabulous. The weather was not great. It was rainy, it was wet, but when I tell you our lobby was packed, you hear me? We had so many attendants. And we were also graced with the presence of our Congresswoman, Donna Presley. She came with her family. I mean, stunning, just in all her glory.
Mhm.
She was there. She came to support Senator Wilkerson and also the other speakers. And then City Councilwoman Julia Mejia also came. And she got a word so good that she's like, I need to connect with this speaker. She wanted to actually connect with one of the speakers and talk to her because she said that talk really resonated with her. So our speakers are catching the attention of local politicians. These are the people
Mhm.
who are in charge, like you said, and going full circle back to our voting rights. These are the people that are helping to pave the way for us to be able to keep and maintain the freedoms while we still have them. So them being able to come to a TEDx and take the stage and hear about civics, to hear about what it's like to experience being underserved and having to rely on the welfare system, but still wanting to be a professional, gentrification, technology, all of those things. Our TED stage represents what the community is generally talking about, and these politicians were there to absorb all of that. So I was so excited for that to happen.
That's good. I'm sorry that I missed it, especially the one about trees, because it was I think I mentioned before, and I've said it a couple of times on the podcast, that there was a woman a couple of years ago who talked about
Yes.
us, being in outdoor spaces, and that has always stuck with me, and I make it a point to enjoy outdoors and make a plan for the summer to be outside more because it does, she connected it to mental health. And it does. Being outside definitely kinda helps relieve some of the stresses that we have being stuck in the house, watching TV, watching the news or whatever. So I would have loved that conversation on the difference between a Back Bay resident having more trees compared to Roxbury, because I would not have thought that to be the case.
Right. Well, just even, it goes to what type of pollution. Maybe I don't recall the exact numbers, but maybe they even have the same amount of trees, but they have less pollution, so less trees are required. So he talked through all of the statistics and the numbers on that.
Mhm.
And just hearing his talk. So all of these talks will be available once they're vetted by the TED organization. We are an official TEDx. We're not like, we didn't just come up and write in red letters TEDx on our signage. We are a legitimate affiliate of the TED organization. So they will vet those speeches. Once they are cleared and they have fact checked them all, then they will be posted on our TEDx Roxbury YouTube channel for all to listen. So right now they're not available just yet. So that's why if you can make it in person, you get the preview, you get to hear them live, but then once they're released, I'll be making sure to share those with everybody because they were phenomenal. And next year, year 5, we're already planning. We're already getting ready for year 5.
You
So
should, that's exciting, and I
that's
actually
gonna sell out.
reposted some clips from last year when I went because it popped
Mhm.
up and said, "This is what you were doing a year ago on May 3rd," and I'm like, my Facebook is shaming me because I didn't go."
And the thing is that so much work goes into this. We start
Yeah.
planning in the summertime for this
Mhm,
big event that happens in May. And there's so many elements that go into it. So it's our planning committee that includes our coaches. So our speakers all get coaches and we work with our speakers. So we don't ask people to come to us as a fully developed speaker with a stage presence. We will develop that. So, of course, Senator Wilkinson is used to taking the stage and presenting a speech, but Reagan, who's in high school, is not necessarily, an orator that has years of experience. She's a fabulous orator.
mhm.
But obviously, being a teenager, how many years of that can she have? You know what I mean? But we prepare everyone, and trust me, she didn't even need it, but we have so many people, and this opens up a lot of doors. So I encourage people to apply when the applications come up in October. I also encourage you. I had people coming up to me saying, how can I be part of this? I want to volunteer next year. And of course, I got them signed up through Win-Win. We're going to get them, vetted and brought in to volunteer next year as well, because there's backstage, there's front of house, there's ticketing, we have food distribution, there's vendor liaison, all of these different things. Someone to make sure photos are getting taken on the step and repeat. All of those things contribute to a successful day. So I'm excited. We'll have our debrief meeting today to talk about everything and already start planning, like I said, for next year.
I know I keep saying I wanna sign up, but I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, so we'll see.
So
Maybe
if
1 year I'll do it.
I can give a tip. So people also approached me and said, I was thinking about going on stage. What I will tell you is if you want to be considered for TEDx Roxbury, because it's an application process, I cannot get you in. I can't green light you. But what I can do
What?
is tell
There's
you, I can tell you that the key to a good start is you need a story worth sharing, and it needs to have a strong tie to the Roxbury community and apply to bettering our community. So those are the two key things. I also highly suggest do not use AI to fill out the application because we can tell.
Are
As much
people
as I
doing
love
that?
AI,
Wow.
yeah, we noticed last year and the year before it started, definitely this year, we saw a couple that came through, was like, you definitely used AI to write this. And we can
Yeah.
sometimes tell from your heart and your soul. Now, if you do the right prompt and you nail it, we can't say much, but you have to have that love for Roxbury, and that comes through in your application.
I was more with Mattapan, so maybe not. No, I'm joking.
I'm
I'm joking. But you know what? Back to the AI, and I'm definitely gonna watch it when it shows up on the YouTube because I have a very particular disdain for AI. And I think I have been very vocal about
Mhm.
that, especially when it comes to pictures or images of
Yeah.
people. That is my main concern. And I know now that they have this device now that they want you to name the people that come to your door. So
Yes.
I would never do that. And I don't suggest anybody else do that. But I'm also noticing how it's making us so lazy as far as thinking. So we have it attached now to our emails. So we'll write an email in response. This is a work email. I don't have it attached to my personal. We'll have, it attached to it and then it'll ask you, do you want to fix this? Now I get it. That's like, okay, especially if you're sending something that's very important, you want to be extremely detailed and you want to be clear. I get it. Where someone says, well, let them take a look at it and make it better. And it's useful in that way to an extent, but it also is taking away your confidence in your words, your ability to form an email without feeling like, you can't do it. So and it translates over from your email to projects that you're working on or anything that you have to write. And I feel
Mhm.
like especially with our students, you need to be able to use your brain and AI just makes you dumber in my opinion because you don't ever have to really think past a certain line. You can just type in a couple of words and that's it for you. Now, one of my proudest moments is I put something in AI before I just started disliking it or whatever, and they were pretty much on it did clean it up. But basically, I had already started out strong, it stayed strong, and it kept my words because I knew already what I want, but I like to write. So I just encourage people, if you do use it, I mean, that's fine. Like you said, it's not going away. But
Yeah.
there's also but don't lose the confidence in yourself as well. If you've never been a writer or you feel like, you don't write well, a lot of times the things that you are need to focus on is the passion of what you're saying, and outlining things. But I'm not gonna get in a whole tangent on that. Just be careful. Just be careful and don't discredit yourself by thinking something else that can tailor your brain and your writing to fit a mold. That's all I'm saying.
So I have a rebuttal.
Mhm.
So not do agree with you that especially for younger kids who have not developed writing skills, when I say younger kids, I'm talking about elementary school, middle school, even high school.
High school and college,
Yeah, in
really.
college.
Mhm.
I think at our age, because we went through the trenches with all that, we have a different lens to approach it. So I don't think it would make us dumber as Gen X, right? Because we already have the baseline for.
Mhm.
We wrote essays in pen by hand,
And that's true.
and we couldn't, if you had a teacher that did not allow pencil, that joint was in pen, you couldn't erase. I had a typewriter when I was in high school, and
I know, we had that
when
high
the autocorrect typewriter came out, baby, you couldn't tell me nothing because I had the whiteout built
Mhm.
into the typewriter, and I thought I was that girl. I thought I had the highest technology. But in the industry that I work in and the capacity that I work in, because I'm client facing and I have about 45 clients, sometimes AI saves me from cussing somebody out. So when I, what I mean to say by that is like sometimes if I am trying to respond to someone, I'm upset, they're upset. I'm trying to respond with a firm no. Sometimes I will lean on AI to say, okay, I need you to be professionally firm. Take what I wrote because I'm going to write something first. And I need you to be professionally firm, but empathetic. So that might be a prompt that I'm going to give it and it's going to spit something back. And then I'm going to retweak that. A lot of times that saves me mental anguish. It saves me time because usually the people who require so much handholding and attention are the ones you don't need to be wasting your time on because you got other clients who are normal individuals with normal expectations that you can, maybe take the time to write something genuine and from the heart to, like, thank you for your reference or what have you. So there are times when I'm grateful to have the AI co-pilot helping me write emails. Or if I like, let's say I'm pressed for time and I'm getting ready to go into a meeting and I'm asking my internal colleague for an answer to something that my client asked me. I can take the question my client asked me and paste in the response that my internal colleague, who's a specialist in an area I have no expertise in, put those together, say, take this, answer the client with this information. Boop, boop, bullet points, bomb, 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 copy and paste, done. I'm ready for my Zoom with the other client. So especially where people are getting fired, they're getting laid off, they just closed down Spirit Airline and fired thousands of people. I think I want to say the number 7,000. So what they're doing is they got people like me doing two jobs. So instead of these companies keeping these employees, what they're doing is they're asking one employee to do the job of two, three employees. So for me, AI can help me a lot during my workday, but creatively, I think you should just use your own brain.
And I think I get what you're saying, but again, I'm just gonna go with I don't wanna be lazy mentally. And I feel like even at our age, I don't want a tool that's gonna make me lazier as well. But I do agree that, at this certain time, especially if you're extremely busy and you're dealing with something that will take too much energy, definitely go ahead and lean in. I'm not because just like the speaker said, it's not going anywhere. So you need to learn how to use it and implement it into your life, but don't let it take over. Don't let it
Yeah,
take over your ability to think and work out a problem because then and that to me is worse for people who are our age compared to when it is well, it definitely is gonna hurt, younger people because then they'll
yeah,
grow up not being able to figure out other solutions other than what a computer tells them. So my point is just be careful about it.
yeah,
But I do like the idea of like what she's saying because one of the things is I'm so against it, I'm not thinking about the business aspect side of it as well. Like, yeah, when you type in something and you type in something about let's go to I want to go out to vacation in Roxbury, give me 10 things to do. It sends you to Back Bay or West Roxbury. And I think I have noticed that on
Mhm.
Google on certain things. So I had definitely seen it. And that can be detrimental to the Black community, to a Hispanic community. So it does have to be trained. And I think one of the people I follow on Instagram, Lisa, Lisa,
Yes,
right?
consciously.
Lisa, she did something on Instagram yesterday and she posted it where she said she asked the AI to make her pretty. Now, Lisa's my
Wow.
complexion. So what it did is it created a white version of her.
Wow.
So, and again, this is where AI needs to be trained because AI is trained to look and mimic people who don't look like us. So it's and then when they do look like us, that's the criminal side of it. That's the stereotypical side of it. So it does need to be trained. And I agree with what the speaker was saying and what you're saying as well. We just have to be very careful. And what we probably need more than anything is more African Americans or people of color working in IT that's help creating these things. But I don't think that's what the, the big tech companies really want because there's
I
an
mean, we
agenda there as
do
well.
we're out there and we've always been on the forefront of
Mhm,
technology. Black people, Black women. I mean, think about, Hidden Figures. That was Black technology. It
mhm.
may have been on a chalkboard with a piece of chalk and a chalkboard, but that was Black technology at NASA. When you think about the GPS system developed in helped to be implemented by a Black woman, caller ID, Black woman that did that. A lot of technology, even though we don't know it as technology. But one of the things
Or
about
given the credit for it.
given the credit for it, but we're there, and if we're not the sole inventor, we're on the team, right?
Mm.
The light bulb, it's kind of well documented that the assistant that helped with the creation of the light bulb was African American. So I think about technology and just the evolution of things. Writing at one point used to be like literally a rock and like a chisel, right? That was writing at one point on a tablet. You know what I'm saying? And then it became paper, the parchment became a thing, and then it was paper with ink, and that was a limitation. People, didn't even have access to that because not everyone was literate. This is just the natural evolution, typewriters, home computers, beyond, these big computers that used to take up a wall, now computers in your pocket on your phone. It's just the evolution of communication and writing, and AI is part of that. And I know it's hard for people. I'm more concerned about the environmental consequences. So
Mhm.
I've tried to limit my use of AI unless it's like what I consider necessary. And I'm also particular about which AI forums I use because not all of them are, they're not just environmentally unconscious, but they may also be damaging in other ways, like supporting wars overseas and things like that. So
Yeah, and I'm
it's hard.
concerned more about, like, the surveillance aspect of it. And that part really does scare me, especially having, young Black men out here, and then you have that component that can make them or turn anybody into a criminal, actually, so
Yeah.
it
That's
is
scary
it is
though.
something that again, like I said, I feel like, we need to be more at the table and there needs to be a lot of legislation as well built up around this because there needs to be some control. But right now, there's not that control because our leaders, political leaders, Republican and Democrat, are being paid by these big tech companies. So there's not a lot of control there right now.
And some of
And
them
that
just
brings back
don't.
to voting.
Some of them just plain don't understand it, like, they don't understand
They
the
understand
technology
that
and what
paycheck they're getting.
and then right, they need to get but the same way you don't understand how medicine is made, you still get involved with the pharmaceutical industry. So it's like it's your business to get educated and ramped up
Mhm.
on this. And I do wanna harken back to what you said about Lisa putting something in and saying, "Make me pretty," and it turning her white. I've been on Snapchat and done some of the filters, and I'm like, "This is clearly not meant for melanated skin." This filter that came through, because I would literally put on a filter and it would make me white. And I'd be like, wait a minute, that doesn't look nice to me. Like and it doesn't look anything like me. So AI making, images is a big part of AI because people do use that a lot. And it's scary because AI images are starting to look more and more realistic. So we need not just training on how to train AI, we need training on how to receive AI because a lot of people every day on social media get duped into believing things that they see, images, videos, things that are not real. And it's like, would you think this is real? This is clearly fake, but they cannot discern. So we need more training on that as well. There definitely needs to be legislature, there needs to be education, all of those things, but we also can't just say, I don't like AI and walk away and turn away from it because then it's going to evolve without our input. And that's what's
And that's not what
happening.
I'm saying at all. I did not
No, of
say that
course,
at
of
all.
course.
Okay.
No, of course, but I'm just saying, when people say that, like, I have family members that are like, I dislike AI. I'm like, I get it, but you need to understand it. That's my main point of view. It's like you don't have to use it, but you got to understand it. And if you are engaging with it and you're being duped by it, you definitely need to work on understanding what is AI, what's not AI, and also just using it. It again comes to like being an independent thinker, like you said, like you need to be able to have an independent thought because if you see something and it looks crazy to you, pictures of Rihanna and her new baby, while that feels harmless, it's probably AI. It's probably not really her baby. And, you know, clicking on that, I mean, I've been clicking on some things lately that look like people have been doing these tremendous things. Like it was something like this homeless guy, rags to riches story. The whole thing was AI and fake.
What my mom told me the other day, she said, "Did you see that video of Barron Trump yelling at Michael B. Jordan at some award dinner?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't see that." He yelled at him, "Sit down, old man." And I'm like, Barron Trump, who we've never heard speak, yelled at Michael B. It's true?
No, I'm saying we've never heard him speak. That's true.
Right. Oh, okay. Because 'cause I'm like, "I don't think that's true." She said, Yeah, I saw it on Facebook." And I said, "Google it and see if it comes up anywhere else. And if it's only Facebook, then it's fake." First of all, we've never heard this kid speak, and I feel like they create a narrative about him. But that's she believed it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and
Because it's
I'm not
spicy.
championing anybody Trump at all, and I'm not trying to make any of them look good, but and honestly, and she was like, "And the way Michael B. Jordan handled it, it was very respectful, and it was like," I'm like, "That's not real. That is not real." So she's like, "I'm not clicking on anything else." That's why I missed TED Talk yesterday because I was TED talking to my parents.
I'm so glad my mother doesn't want anything to do with social media because she would be duped every day if she was. I already have to talk my aunts off the ledge as stuff that they and I'm like, please don't click on things, please, especially in your email and your because they're using it to especially scam older people. So again, I
Mhm.
feel like Gen X is that sweet spot where not all of us, but a lot of us, we have that good bridge between two types of generations, which we're going to lose with our generation. You know what I mean? We're going to lose that kind of bridge from the manual to the tech. There's not going to be another generation like us that has
Mhm.
that foundation, unfortunately. This whole new generation is all tech. Like everything's tech. The minute they are can hold their hands up, with enough strength, there's a phone. I have a 6-month-old family member and she's into the phone already. I'm not the parent, so is I can only preach so much about it, but as much as I love technology, I don't like seeing little kids, especially under the age of like 4 with a tablet, with a phone. For what? Why does this baby need technology?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't even wipe good and you and you're
And yeah, and but honestly too, I'm with you 100% and I get it. And I only know a few parents that are very strict about their 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 tablet use for their children. And I gotta shout out my girl Rose. She's very good. Her kids don't even know that you can't use a tablet outside of the airplane.
so that's good. She's
But she keeps
keeping
them
yeah.
busy and active in doing things. But I know things are hard. I know things are hard, and to her credit, she keeps them very busy. And I have to give it credit to my daughter-in-law the same way with Autumn. Now, at my house, it's a whole different story. I'm that bad grandmama. I understand. But, I get it. It's a lot. And I know people use it just to have that minute. But you have to be very careful,
Yeah, and
and they get
Autumn's
addicted
older.
way
She's
too quickly.
it's too early. I'm
I'm
telling you,
addicted.
when I was in Japan, I
Mhm.
did not see children with phones. I did
Me
not see children with tablets,
too. Yeah.
all. And I didn't see adults like walking around really like in their phones just on the street. Maybe on the train they might take their but it wasn't like if you get on a subway in America, everybody's got their phone out. Like literally unless your phone's dead, you're probably on your phone, right? You didn't see that in Japan. And I make that comparison. Japan is not the United States, but we should be because they are better than us. And I will say that right now. Japan is hella better than the United States. Their kids are smarter. Their country is cleaner. I think their politics are halfway decent. And they just like everything's better in Japan. I'm like, we could learn from the Japanese. They are pioneers in technology. So it's not that they frown upon technology.
No, they don't.
No, technology has its proper place and time.
That's a good point because they have AI. They're doing all those things in creating that stuff that we do, but they're not taking it to their education level. Like you're gonna learn AI for like a job purpose, but then you're also going to learn the basics in education. And we just see that Trump just a week got rid of the science board. Why would you get rid of a science board? We were an innovative country for many, many years, and America would not be where it is if it wasn't for those innovations and for science and for engineers to help create things. And now all of a sudden those things are bad. Education is bad. How do you expect to compete with China or Japan if you take away the things that had made us a technological superpower? We are not anymore. And we say it all the time. We are in the 25th century. All the other countries are in the 21st.
Yep, we're behind.
But
We
you
are
don't know
behind.
that because if you're just staying here, like you've been to Japan, you've seen it, you know exactly what it's like to, even though you're on vacation, you got a sense of what it's like to live there. Totally different from here.
Mhm.
Infrastructure is different. Communication is different.
Just even like cultural, like their love for their country is apparent just in how clean they keep their country. Like the sidewalk should in their mind be as clean as the inside of your home. You know what I mean? The subway should be clean. It shouldn't smell like urine. It shouldn't be like a place where you feel like you're going to get,
So that's the
hurt.
government helping take care of their citizens.
Exactly.
For us, patriotism, in my opinion, is about putting down another group. It's not about us being all one. It's about siphoning off everybody until you get to what you feel is the actual American, and usually that's white Americans.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
Yeah. Speaking of,
the racism here. The racism here. I did not know about this story coming up until I saw somebody's TikTok, not TikTok, Threads post. And I was like, this happened in Rhode Island.
in Warwick.
Then I had West Warwick, and then I was like, oh, I see. Now I'm gonna play the clip, and I hope it actually plays because you said that it didn't show up. Very careful of that. But let's listen to this.
Viral video out of West Warwick that sparked concern across this nation. Police now say it was all staged. You saw it first here on NBC 10. And tonight we've confirmed the same brothers that NBC 10 spoke with earlier this week are the same ones that investigators say are behind this. I'm Dan Jennings.
And I'm Patrice Wood. They're now admitting to orchestrating this whole scene. And the night team's Leanna Falk has the new details.
Ryan and Sean Fitzgerald, twin brothers, both admitted to NBC 10 that they were behind this viral video. And while police say they orchestrated it for social media content, Ryan had a different response when we questioned him ourselves. How did you guys come up with the decision to go out there that night?
So I ordered my thing, right? And I just decided that I wanted to bring more attention to the fact that not just in this town, but all around America, that I believe there's a bit of a disparity between white and black.
Ryan Fitzgerald back speaking with NBC 10 after it was revealed this viral video was actually planned by him and his twin brother, Sean. Who was in the robe?
Me, I was in the robe.
Investigators say they orchestrated the scene on Main Street Monday night. Ryan admits he wore the robe. Sean admits to filming. Sounds like you have regrets about the whole
You
thing.
bet I have regrets. I'm very angry. He knows where my head is with this whole thing. He's been getting screamed at for the last 48 hours.
Do you regret it at all?
Do I regret it? Regret my delivery? I regret. Actually, no, I don't regret it. No, I don't. No, I don't. Nope, I don't actually. The more I think about it, no, I don't.
Police say despite how it looked, there's no evidence linking the brothers to any hate group. You haven't?
I'm trying not to laugh because as stupid and as terrible as racism is, it was borderline comical to me that they're still not on the same page about this issue. That is so I don't what are your thoughts?
That who's not on the same page? Okay, my
The
thoughts
two
are
brothers are
the two brothers.
not on the same page.
I don't understand how the other one who was filming it was duped. You do know what a Ku Klux Klan uniform looks like. So you're filming it. And what did you think he was going to do with it? I think he's like maybe thinking it was a joke. He thought it was going to be funny. I'm not sure, but I don't understand. Like, I would hope that if somebody says, oh, film me in this Ku Klux Klan uniform that his brother clearly ordered.
The thing,
He
the
must, so,
thing,
yeah, the
I
thing.
ordered my thing. You
He
couldn't even say it.
knew I know, couldn't say it. Stand in your racism. He tried to at the very end, he wished he was part of a white nationalist organization. And when he talks about disparities between black and white, sir, let that man expound on those disparities. I want to hear what he had to say. But I'm glad we know what he looks like. And he looks like the dead toe that we would expect him to look like, just like a meth head. But it's like in the same week that the Supreme Court did this is what they decide to do. Now, when I first saw it, I was just like, wow, I did not hear about it. But my grandson did live in West Warwick, did not like it for him, the education. And at that time, he was like in the fourth grade, and fourth grade kids would be coming to him trying to talk to him about Donald Trump. And so they knew what Donald Trump stood for in their household, and that was white nationalism. And at fourth grade, they're taunting other Black children about Donald Trump and why support them. This is the fourth grade. I could not wait until he got out of that town. And I'm so glad that he's, in a different situation now. And speaking of my grandson, his birthday was on Monday. My baby's 15. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, happy birthday. How did I miss that?
15. But that's my interpretation of the thing. It's sad that people feel so emboldened now to do that. But you know what? Do it in front of a group of Black people so you can get punched in the face.
So can I tell you the other part that just had me like, and I shouldn't be laughing because this is a serious matter, but the whole time I was like, okay, this gorgeous Black reporter is doing the remote, like backdrop of the story. But then when you see them being interviewed, the hand is Black. I think she interviewed them in person. And so this man saying, I think there's a discrepancy between white and Black. I'm like, okay, so are you saying that you're the disenfranchised? The white people are disenfranchised? Because
It
I'm like,
probably
wait,
is.
are you trying? I was like, so whose discrepancy were you trying to spotlight? That people are racist against Black or people are racist against whites and white people need to be more supreme? So I wasn't sure where he was going with it at the beginning. But then when he said, I wish I belonged to the KKK, and his twin brother was like, yo, what are you saying? That was hilarious to me. That was like a skit. I'm sorry. It
Because
was like a
his
skit.
brother probably works with other Black people. He's
And
like,
they're
I'm gonna have to
twins.
go to work or whatever. But and
They're
they
twins.
people.
Another element, comical element, like y'all are twins. So people think that you think alike, you do the same things, whatever. And then his brother
Well,
saying,
we know twins don't, because we have
right.
twins in our community that one is not on our team.
I'm married to a twin. I know that they're very different people. So, but the fact that still, even though they knew they were coming out to interview them, they're still not on the same page because I think it was Sean. Ryan was in the costume. Sean was the one that was like, I've been screaming at him all week about this. Because I think, I don't know, did Sean think his brother was trying to highlight racism against blacks and he got tricked? I don't know.
You know why I don't believe that to be the case? Because you know who your brother is. He's not hiding his racism. If he was bold enough to go out and order a KKK gown, he's already talked about his disdain for the disparities between black and white people. You know who he is.
But he seemed shocked when he's like, what? You thought you were,
I
he
think
seemed
he's more
genuinely shocked.
he might not have the same views or whatever, but he knows who you cannot convince me that he does not know who his brother is.
So I also am like, you guys waited until I forgot what time of night it was, but you waited.
It was clear.
Obviously, it's West Warwick. It was nighttime. You waited till everybody was in the bed and
Mhm.
to do this because you didn't do it in broad daylight. You
No.
weren't ballsy enough to go out in the middle of. And of course, they interviewed a lot of the local white residents who were like, "I'm appalled. I can't believe this." But they had interviewed someone when I first saw it on the news, and the person said, "I know that there is racism here and I've heard these types of conversations, but I didn't know it was this bad." I want to say it might have been one of those guys that because when they said they interviewed someone early in the week, I got to find that footage.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But someone, they interviewed a white guy and he was like, "I know it's bad out here, but I didn't know it was this bad." I
It
was
is
like,
bad out there.
yeah,
From the little bit of experience I've had when my grandson lived out there, no one directly to me, but I'm saying listening to my grandson tell stories and then also trying to navigate not having him go to school and feel bad about being, African American, but also not feeling like having to acquiesce to what these people are saying to him and just
yeah,
accept it as fact, or especially because they're throwing in at that time, this was during Trump's first presidency or whatever.
yeah,
And it was hard because a lot of times I just wanted to say fuck them kids.
yeah.
and
No,
i
I hear you. I hear
and
you.
I'm one of those people now at my old age is we have to talk to our children directly and succinctly about racism. None of this like coding and trying to be nice, because you know what? Trying to be nice has gotten us where we are today with with the Supreme Court doing what it did. Because racism has been steadily building and increasing, especially since Obama got into office. And we've just been out here living our life and also not teaching our children about who they are, where they come from, and that you are more than just enslaved people. And that's what this America is teaching us, and that racism is a bad thing. They're teaching you that, no, the slave masters treated them well. No, they didn't. And people don't want you to have the same rights that they have. They don't want the police to treat you the same way that they treat them. There's all these things, and we have to be honest about it. But white people have to be honest with their children as well, because those little kids that said those things to my grandson, they knew exactly what they were saying to him. They knew exactly what buttons they were trying to push, and they were saying that their whiteness was superior to his blackness. And I couldn't exactly come out and say fuck them kids, but I
Yeah.
want to.
So age appropriate conversations, and this is why I
Yes,
always like encourage is that of course you're not going to lay the whole civil rights thing on a kid when they're like 2, but as things go when they're entering the school, you have to treat them. First of all, you have to teach self-perseverance, and you have to teach self-esteem. So if your child knows who they are when they enter the
and
schoolhouse,
that's the
nobody
key.
else can break them down. That's number one. Number two, if they come to you with stories like this, you have to be able to say, okay, this is how you handle this. And then a
Exactly.
conversation needs to be had with the administration. If the administration is not receptive, you either remove your child from that environment or you do something about it. You go to a higher level to engage about it. I remember my daughter had an incident. A little boy, mind you, she was at a predominantly black school, and a little white boy said nigger on the bus. Like, what? And he wasn't saying it in the cool Dorchester white boy way. He was saying it in his parents probably, originally were living in some other suburb or whatever. Anyway, and the mom was like, completely. She was apologetic, of course, because now y'all are busted. Because where did he hear this?
Exactly.
Y'all don't even own a TV, according to this lady. So where did your son hear nigga from?
She lying.
And this
I
is
mean, they may not have owned the TV, but somebody up in that house or somebody that comes over
somebody
frequently
that comes
is
over.
extremely racist.
So and this, she was probably in 5th grade. This is pre YouTube, like
Mhm.
being like, this is pre kids even having cell phones on them like that. So it
Yeah.
wasn't TikTok, it wasn't Instagram. This is like, I would say probably like the early 2000s. Where
Mhm.
did this little boy hear nigga from? You know what I'm saying? So I called on the administration to have a meeting. I was like, I need to talk about this. And I told the mother, I was like, this is not okay. Your son better not say it again. I know that he did it once. He did. This better be the last one.
Mhm.
Because d- again, you have to prep your children. And my daughter actually had a really great teacher in middle school who was very pro black and like really got them, like he basically made a little classroom of Black Panthers. So in addition to what, they got at home, the reinforcement they got at home, they had reinforcement at school. And my kids went to predominantly Black schools pretty much from kindergarten to high school.
Mhm.
And that's when it became a little bit more split. My daughter went to Metco when she was in the 9th grade, but my sons went to predominantly Black schools the whole time. Even though I went to Metco and I enjoyed my experience at Metco, and we just had this illustrious 60th anniversary, not everyone has a great story to tell about Metco. You yourself you had a horrible experience. It's not that it wasn't great, it was terrible. It was the worst and it was racist. So no matter where your
But
kid goes,
10
even
years before yours, I believe. At
and
least
Medco
10
was
years.
still young. Medco was still young because I started in 81
Okay, yeah.
and you probably started in like,
I think it was like 71. So it was like
and Medco was still very fledgling. Those towns were still, you know,
75.
f- still feeling the burn of, listen, these Black kids are coming here and you can't
Mhm.
do anything about it. When I went to the gala, which, was hosted by Ron DeVoe, who I didn't know as a New Edition member, actually went to Metco. And some people may not realize that Michael Bivins also was a Metco student. So these guys from our community, these celebrities, a lot of them, have come from the Metco system. We had doctors, lawyers, musicians, entertainers. We have everyday Joes like myself that are in the room too. But they had banners of all the towns up around the venue. Some of them were like 1968, 1975. These are the years that these towns started the Medco program. It was still
And
very
my
young.
town
And
wasn't even that far from where I lived. I
yeah,
lived in Mattapan, and I went to school in Braintree.
but just like we talk about the discrepancy
Yep.
of Back Bay versus Roxbury, it could be a matter of meters. And you get depending on
Totally
what that
different.
community culture is, and
Mhm.
that culture in Braintree and probably still to this day is predominantly white, and they like it that way.
Mhm.
And maybe they don't want to see that type of change in their community. It's look at
But truth
Randolph.
be told, we like a Black community. They think that we just always wanna be up with them, but no, we like our communities
We
and
do.
the homeliness that we have with each other and that comfort, and I totally understand, but if a white person moves next door to us, we're not trying to burn their house down.
Absolutely
Live
not.
and let live. So if a black person moves next door to you, do not try and burn their house down. There's a difference.
Mhm.
Have some level of empathy or just humanity for another human being. And
Mhm.
that's what makes me so upset that these brothers, and I'm sorry, I cannot give that brother a pass. I
Oh, I'm
feel
not giving
bad.
him a pass.
No,
He
I
just
know you're
seems
not. I'm just saying I feel that he probably could have been duped, but filming your brother dressed up as the Ku Klux Klan, nothing good is gonna come of that, especially when you know who he is. And I love that at the very end of the interview with them, that he was so frustrated that he let his boldness come out and say, "I wish I was part of a white national organization," and he's probably gonna get grabbed up by one because
oh, I'm
now
sure
everybody knows your name in your face.
they're already DMing him, I'm sure. But neither one of them have much brain cell power working for them right now. So again, I'm like, these bumbling like they're both idiots, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Allegedly. So I was just like, wow. I'm like, And so he just ordered this on the internet, had no problem ordering and getting it,
Mhm.
and decided he's gonna walk around wearing this. And then I'm just like, well,
In the
so what
dead of
is
night, like you said. Not bold enough to do it in the daytime, but in the dead of night.
right? And I'm like, and then I thought to myself too, what would I do if I saw someone walking around like that? Because honestly, just even
Right.
watching the video, I wasn't even scared. I was just looking
I
like, look at this fool. I thought it was a college kid, to be honest with you. I thought it
Mhm.
was like someone was like, I dare you to put this thing on and walk around. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel
Mm,
like hatred, even though I know what that
mm.
costume represents. I was like, this is like some kind of stupid prank. And I
It
hope
felt like
that
hatred to me.
I literally was like not entertained, but like I
Yeah.
said, I was like, this is stupid as hell.
Yeah,
It was
it
dumb.
definitely was stupid, but I definitely probably because, again, I don't have warm feelings for West Warwick. I don't even
Yeah,
like Warwick,
I
really.
think
You know
that's
how I feel
probably what
about
it is.
Warwick. I don't even like to go there.
What part of town is West Warwick? I don't even know what the difference is between West Warwick and
It's
Warwick. Like, what
they're
section is
close
that?
to each other. I can't give I mean, I know they have
Where's the
their own
airport? Is the
mayors.
airport like West Warwick?
No, 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 the airport is in Warwick,
Okay.
and West
I don't
Warwick
even
is
know.
like the town, like, before, and it's probably very small, but I know that it does have, like, its own mayor or something, so it is a separate
Yeah.
town. But no,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan, and the reason why I don't even like Warwick is because I remember in 2016, there was an there would be Trump signs for days in 2016. Then I said, "You know, you won't see my money. You won't see my money."
I don't see
I
him
go
anymore
there
though.
for
Do you? Do you see him? I
I
don't
don't
see
go.
them.
I don't go.
I go to Warwick all the time, girl, because they have some, some stores that I
Oh,
just
I
like to
know,
patronize.
I know.
But
I don't go.
even
I go to the airport.
All that Trump energy that I used to see, I don't even
Mhm.
see as much of it anymore. Now, I don't
That's
even see
good.
as many of the bumper stickers as I used to see. Like they were going so hard. I think, maybe they are having buyer's remorse and they took them. I don't know, but
I don't think so.
maybe they're not as glaring to me
I
anymore.
have heard them, like, good what you would say, good Catholic white men
Mm.
defend Trump over their pope,
That's crazy to me. And
over
the
their
Pope is
pope.
not having it. He's
I
so
have
sick.
seen them try to argue me well, not seen, I've had discussions with them and about Trump and the allegations of sexual assault on babies, but what about Prince Andrew? I don't care about Prince Andrew. I care about we have a president that is a sexual assaulter. They
So I
deflect on everything.
Speaking of Prince Andrew, and I know we are kind of like drawing up on time, but did you see Charles and Camilla at the White House?
I did not. I knew they were coming, but I haven't seen, like, any interviews or anything like that. What, 2 hoes and a king?
So people are like, sir, why would you come here to commemorate the 250 years of America when we whooped that ass? Why would England come here
I
to,
mean, if it was a different president, I would totally get it. Why would you come here with
but
this
why do you
president
even need
who
to
has
come here? You're
all
not,
these allegations and a president that has really called out your whole country and called y'all suckers and cowards and everything else, not but 2 weeks ago, and you would shake his hand?
and you look like a whole simp, you and your wife. There's
There
no
you
reason for
go.
y'all to come. You have no political power. Why are
Mm-mm.
you even here? Maybe
That
they
didn't make
invited
any
you.
sense.
Their raggedy ass ballroom is not even done. You know what I'm saying? They just nearly, quote unquote, shot this man. They didn't cancel that meeting. They
Mhm.
just almost killed him. I'm sorry, unalived him, and you still let the king of England come near him, whatever. Anyway, but so there was this receiving line where the king, who I believe a king is above a president, I don't know,
I would think so, but go
white
ahead.
people chime in because I don't know how y'all do things. But so Charles was going to shake the hands of people in this receiving line, and Trump just got in front of him, like pushed him out the way basically, and started shaking all the people's hands that were waiting to receive Prince Charles. Like, bro, he just humiliated you.
He's done that before, and I didn't see it this time, but
Hilarious.
he has no class, and we all know that, so but did you see the videos? I mean, Tracy, there are 3 videos, 3 different versions of that shooting. 3.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
One is clearly AI. It says AI in the corner, and why was that officially released by our government? And it
Yeah,
says
because
AI in the
they
corner.
made it. They
They did.
probably made it and forgot to
Again,
crop it.
3 different videos, and I've seen them all, and I'm just like, again, y'all let that man play in y'all face, and you all believe every little attempt. We're not even gonna
So,
get into that
and
discussion.
because I'm a
His
fool, I'm
face.
sitting up there watching them. I'm like, so I'm watching, because they have them together for their photo op, and it's like
Mhm.
Trump next to Charles, and then the wives are flanking them. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I wonder if Charles smells boo boo. Because the way his face is looking, I'm like, is he just being British or does he smell it?
'Cause that's the rumor. The
I
diaper
was
be
like,
smelling.
oh my gosh. But it was just, yeah, America's a joke. I'm sorry, y'all. Like,
Y'all
America,
let that man turn it into a joke.
I'm still patriotic, but we are a fucking joke, right? I'm so sorry.
And then we got these morons out here. Go read a history book.
Yeah,
Go
while the
read.
history is still available,
Go get a history book. And if they're Irish, what was it? One's name was Shane or what was
all those brothers Fitzgerald, were they
yeah, yeah.
Fitzgeralds? Yeah.
Go read your history book. Go and then come and read an
What?
American history book and find out how low on the totem pole you were before you grabbed on to white nationalism because the people in this country didn't like you either.
They were clearly not the highest of society. The face tattoo kind of gave it away. I'm just like, these are
For
not
that one at least. Did both of them
these
have a face?
people. I can't take these people seriously. I shouldn't have to take
We
these
should
people
take
seriously.
them serious.
We should. But it's very hard for me.
Mhm.
Yes, but please
Only
pay
reason I
attention.
say we should is that part of the reason why we have gotten to where we are today is because we didn't take these
We
people
let them fly. So
seriously.
here's the other piece of this story, which is not funny, not at all. No charges pressed.
Mhm,
Filmed to get attention. So why is walking around with this not considered a hate crime?
mhm.
That's what I'd like to know.
Because they
No,
couldn't link him to a group. Just because you can't link him to a group doesn't mean
why
he's not
can't an
one.
individual commit a hate crime on their own? So I think if these people who got on camera and said, I can't believe this happened, why don't you guys go down to the little either your local politicians or go down to your police station and say that you'd like to file a report because you feel violated in some way
Or
about this
unsafe.
experience. Business owners go out sue them. They have nothing, I promise you that, but sue them in civil court and say, I'm going to lose business because you walked past my business, because that's where they got the footage from, was the local businesses.
Mhm.
Say you're going to lose business because guess what? Shahida and I are even less likely to come out there. We weren't coming anyway. But
Yeah,
other people who might have patronized you before might be disgusted by this and avoid your businesses. So there are ramifications, both criminal and both civil, to these actions, and to let these clowns, like, what's the next thing that they're going to do? You know what I mean? They hang
exactly.
someone in effigy and that was just for attention too. You
Mhm.
have to take this seriously.
You
So I
too.
think that, I don't know who, maybe some Rhode Island politicians can maybe step up and do something about this. NAACP should definitely be saying something about this because it's not cool. Like, I'm laughing because these guys are idiots and they are buffoons, but the reality is, was this taking the temperature of how much further can we go, and nobody say anything? And
Exactly.
then not only did they not get arrested, they got on camera for a interview to confess to the crime that they did, and no one is doing anything about it. And they sent the Black lady, shout out to this classy sister, who held her composure to interview these fools and actually just keep her cool. Because, yeah, are you talking about me? Because that would have been me. I would have been like, so what you trying to say? You talking about
Again,
me?
spell out the discrepancy, sir. What are you talking about?
Right.
Let
And
me know.
they cut his mic when he was about to explain. So what was said is
Oh,
what I would
yeah,
like to
I
know.
didn't even notice that.
Watch it again. As soon as he said there's a disparity between blacks and whites in America, I was like, oh, is he saying he was trying to bring attention to racism against blacks?
Mhm.
And they cut his mic. So obviously wasn't
He
fit
said
for
probably said
television. It
something.
was racist what he was saying. So
Mhm.
you have that footage. The local news has that footage. Bring it to the cop because that's his confession.
There it is. There it is. Well, we'll end on that note. We are at our time, but again, we be aware. Tracy dropped some gems,
My
so
God.
we need to, pay attention and do what we need to do to create, a safer space for us to be in.
Yes.
because again, no one's going to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves.
Yep. And you guys know where to find us. If you want to talk about this some more, if you want to DM us, if you want to comment on our posts, please do so. We are on Instagram at Little State Big Voices, as well as Facebook. You can watch our videos, either this one or past videos on YouTube. We're also available on Apple Podcasts. We're out there wherever podcasts are heard for the most part. And we want to hear from you. So we want to hear, especially on these topics we discussed today, voter rights, Keystone Cop racism, whatever you want to talk about, we want to talk to you. Come through.
Yes. So until next time, enjoy your week and we will be back next week. Talk to you soon.
Until then.